How are you both?
Good. How are
Doing
you?
good.
Good. So I will jump straight in because I've got so much to ask where everything is going for both of you. We got this. I'm trying to get my thoughts in order. We got this whole thing of where you both have these abduction storylines and you don't remember them. So what was it like playing with all that in this lead up? And at what point did you realize that that's what you were playing with in this series?
Mm,
Meredith, you want to go first?
okay, sure. Well, um, last season when during season two when Chris told us that that's what was in the cards, it's such a gift because it creates this sort of underlying sense of unease and tension that really can play into a lot of conflict or questions of because if you're a person who has no, like, for me, different maybe for Ben, but for Kate, she has no knowledge of what has happened to her, but she's still being shaped by things that she doesn't even really remember and doesn't have any memory of. And so it's it's a nice Easter egg to move through like conflict scenarios or feelings of unease or feelings of not fitting in or tension or anxiety or the way we interact with each other, and knowing that underneath there is this unconscious, for me, uh, issue at play, this violation that would create this sense of unease. So it's very activating.
Yeah, and I would agree with a lot of that. For me, when Chris told me, it was right before we started filming season two. So we had done the whole first season, and I'd always just approached this character as, I mean, just kind of a goof. And I feel like it was only when he told me that basically Ben's been abducted since he was a child, and every time, although he can't remember it, every time it happens, it's super traumatic. And so it really helped. I don't just in myself kind of grounding the character and just feeling it just made more sense to me why Ben is the way he is, why he's afraid of everything, conflict. Um, yeah, just kind of going through life like this nerve flapping in the wind that he is, and which obviously makes comedic moments, but it just shaped a lot of how I approach the character. So that was fun to play with in the third season, especially, just because there's so many scenes that you can feel both of our characters kind of subconsciously remembering something, but we're not sure what it is, but the audience knows. So that was, yeah, it was cool. It was a cool twist for sure.
But Levi, for Ben, because you've been playing this, he's been abducted since he was a kid, on and off.
Yeah.
It kind of help not knowing this story so that you could just have these moments of the comedic moments, or did you go back wishing that you knew that this was somewhere in his subconscious?
That's a good question. I do. I have a hard time watching myself, and so there's definitely been times when, I'll watch an episode and be like, "Ugh, like I wish I could have reeled that back a little bit," or like you're really hitting it hard. So I think, I don't know, it's hard. I mean, yeah, I think it would have been maybe beneficial to know, but maybe I would have made too much of a meal out of it if I had. I don't know. I think Chris played it right by waiting to tell us, because I don't think he wanted us to kind of, you know tip the hat to the audience in any way that there might be something like that going on until he was ready for them to know. So yeah, I think he was of course right, per usual.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Meredith, it's such a traumatic and heartbreaking story that Kate is now going through. What
Mm.
was that like going into this, finding this out and then having to like play this part?
Well, it's such a pleasure to get to be on a show like this because it's such a multi-hyphenate. Like, I'm surrounded by these unbelievable comedians on set, and we have such incredible, everyone's got such comedic timing. Levi is just on fire funny every take. I'm always trying not to blow, his coverage or my coverage. But, to get to be able to be on a show that lets me, live in a comedic space, and then also get to do a storyline like this that is so grounded in what ends up being, you know, grief, and it was a joy to play it. You know, my sort of, not to get woo woo, but like my sort of feeling about acting is that everything comes from joy, even playing grief, even playing discomfort or fear or tension or paranoia, that it's all coming from a place of the joy of getting to live something out. So for me, it was so much fun because it was another element, another color in my character's palette that made her feel, you know, it fed into so many thoughts, kind of like, you know, how you were talking about previous seasons with Ben, like it fed into so many of like interpretations of the way I saw things that had happened in the previous seasons. And it fed, it just kept it, you know, it was another nuanced experience to add to the mix. So I mean, I had so much fun living through that because it was, you know, real, and the writing is so strong. And so living through that is really, it's well supported, you know.
Just to end it, is there anything that you can tease about season 3 and how it's all gonna, you know, what we can see in the subconscious coming out?
Meredith, you got to take this one. I'm so bad.
Well, I mean, I can say for myself that, you know, last season I was searching for like a feeling of belonging and a place to call home and feeling out of place. And, you know, I get a bit of that, but then this season is like, that's shattered and it's coming from inside, not coming from these outs. You know, I was pointing my fingers out a lot. You know, it's the people, I don't know anyone. It's Ben, it's this energy, it's this, everything is causing me not to feel. And now it's this change of why don't I feel safe? How do I protect myself? How do you fight this invisible enemy or this invisible problem and feeling? And some people might deal with that via like self-medicating, but I think it's such a testament to how strong he wrote my character that for me, season 3 is a lot about a quest to discover like why I feel the way I do, and to like to make it better, you know, that her like type A-ness is redirected to like figuring out what's going on really actively. So I mean, that's not really like a teaser, but that's what I can say about myself moving forward. Levi?
Oh God, I don't know. To be honest, I'm so sorry. I just don't really remember what happens after episode 4. It's been so long. You know, we filmed this over a year ago, and I was trying to go through my notes, and they're like, my notes are not very good. So I'm sorry. I don't really remember what happens.
So let's not have any spoilers. And,
yeah, yeah, your secret's safe with me. Trust me.
He's just being cagey so he doesn't spoil anything. That's all.
Yeah, right.
well, thank you so much. That is all I've got time for there.
Thank you, Alexandria.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.